Hi, woodwind students. Um, this is oboe lesson number 2, and today we're going to talk about the octave keys. The octave keys on oboe are plural. It's one of the things that we want to get used to is the fact that there's actually 3 different octave keys that we use in the second and third register on the oboe. Before we do that, a little bit more about oboe embouchure. On the other woodwinds, on the other reed instruments, what we've talked about is making the lower lip a little bit hard for high notes, for instance. On the oboe, you want to do something that's the entire opposite, which is like this. You want to play like this, which is a ooh. And so the idea is to maximize the amount of cushion for the reed. Okay, so if I play like this, there's that kind of a sound. If I play ooh, and it works also for the high notes. You don't have to pull the corners back or do any of those kinds of things that you do with clarinet and saxophone. Okay, so we learned notes in the lower octave, and we started with C, which is 1 and 1. What we're going to do now is venture into the middle octave. And right above C is D. So when you go from C, you're playing 1 and 1. And when you go to play D, which is 6 fingers, like you're used to on some of the other instruments, you're going to pivot the first finger like that. And you'll notice on this first finger key, there's a little hole. And what we're going to do is uncover the hole and keep the key down. So this sort of pivot motion is really, really essential to oboe technique. So I'm going to demonstrate playing from C to D. And you'll notice that when I went to play D, I pivoted my first finger down and uncovered that hole. So the first little exercise that I'm sending you guys is these are things. These are what I'm showing you today with these 3 different octave key options. Are things that you want to be a basic part of oboe technique. These are things that you want that are supposed to become automatic. Automatic when you go from one note to another. Okay, so that's octave key number 1. Octave key number 2 is this one on the back. And of course, oboe doesn't have another key. It doesn't. Mine actually has 2, but yours only has 1, and we're only going to be concerned with the 1. It doesn't have another key. It doesn't have an open hole. So when you're playing in the low register, you can play with the thumb off or with the thumb on the wood, like that. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so that now octave key number 2 is on the back, and we've gone up as far as D. When we go from D to E, we're starting here with D, which in the first finger has opened up. It's called half holing. The first finger has half holed the first finger key. We're going to go from D to E. When we go to E, we lift up the 4th finger, which is like the E that we know. And we're going to put this back down, and at the same time, push the thumb key. So, I'm going to do this in profile, maybe you'll see it better. And if I sit this way, okay, that's octave key number 2. When I finish explaining about octave keys, I'll reiterate which notes use which. Okay, then we have octave key number 3. Octave key number 3 is right here. And you open it with the first finger. So here we are, we're playing a scale, we're in the middle octave, we're playing D, E, F, G. When we go to A, we already have the thumb key down, and we're going to just sort of pivot the hand so that we open up this guy right here. If you notice, my hand is pivoting, and I'm opening up that number 3 octave key. We leave the thumb down. Okay, it gets really complicated if you try to lift the thumb up. What happens is you open this key, and it closes one pad and it opens up another. So it's totally automatic. You do not have to lift your thumb up. Here's what happens. We go from G to A. Okay, so to reiterate, octave key number 1, which is the half whole, is for C sharp in the middle. So we play C sharp in the middle octave, the middle C sharp. That would be 3rd space C sharp, and it's this little button here. It's kind of in a weird place because this is E flat, this is C, this is C sharp. So here we are, we're in the middle octave, half whole C sharp, half whole for D, half whole for E flat, and then we already talked about to transition from D to E. Well, if we're playing a chromatic scale, the same is true for E flat to E. We will pivot the first finger up onto the to close the open hole and push the thumb key. So if I'm playing from E flat, same as going from D to E. So okay, so the notes that we use the second octave key for are E, E, F, F sharp, G, and G sharp. And then we're going to use octave key number 3 above that to go to A. And all the notes above that into the 3rd octave. Okay, so if we put it all together, I will be sending you all these little exercises by email attachments. I'm going to play something where I'm going to use all 3 of the different octave keys. Okay, so even though this is in C major, it's kind of one of the most complicated things to do on the oboe. It's very interesting because F sharp major kind of isn't any more difficult or complicated on the oboe than C major. But there are some challenging things with C major. So I started with D, which is the half hole, and then I played E, which is the back octave key, and we cover the hole. Front F, for which we add this little key in between. G, and we still have the back octave key down. And then A, the top note of the exercise, is 2 fingers, and we pivot the hand on the left to open up the 3rd octave key. So this little exercise, and you'll see it when I send it to you, it's called number 5. It actually uses all 3 of the octave keys. Okay, in addition to that, I'm going to send you some pages from a method book. And what you need to know is when we have a key of B, when we have any key that has a B flat in it, it's kind of cool because you basically are going to leave this finger down. So I'm going to start with A. So to play B flat, I added this finger, and I'm going to leave it down when I go to C. Front F because I'm not going to D. Fork F because I'm going to go down to E. There's your 1 and 1 C again. Leave the right first finger down for B flat. One more thing I'm sending you, long ago, and it's a duet. Unfortunately, we can't play duets this way, so you'll have to just imagine the second part. But I want you to play the top line. And that uses the 3rd octave key for A. We go back down to D, and we're going to open this up and take the back octave key off. So next week, oh, and by the way, please feel free to email, call, text, whatever, at any time if you have questions about any of this. I sort of have to condense a lot of stuff into each one of these lessons. But again, what we do with the 3 octave keys is kind of the basic thing to learn about oboe technique. And once we understand that, and it becomes a little bit automatic, then a lot of things become possible on the oboe. We will be, okay, so like I said, please feel free to contact me. I haven't heard from anybody, so I am assuming you guys are just like, the next, great oboe players, all of you, which doesn't surprise me at all. Next week, what I'm going to do is schedule a Zoom lesson with all of us. And so please let me know what times you're available on Friday of next week. And if I can get a consensus, then I'll set up a Zoom lesson and we can all play oboe together virtually. think that covers it. I will be sending you some things attached to an email. I'll send you a link for this video, and have a good week and enjoy playing the oboe.